Claudio, thank you so much for joining CNBC.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here in Qatar. I want to ask you to comment on what we saw from OPEC Plus just a couple of weeks ago. They decided to cut more significantly than they had even planned to do. Were you surprised by that move?
I think that was due because a strong volatile of the environment and also respect to the demand. We saw that the price of oil in 2019 was very low. The gas price was worse than that, in spite of the geopolitics, because the geopolitics took about 600,000 barrels per day from Venezuela, another 600,000 barrels per day from Iran, plus 1.2 million barrels from OPEC, and that was not enough. So for sure, we need to have a price, I don't want to say low or high, but stable, because only if you have a stability in your price, you can make investment. But clear from the other side, there is a new degree of freedom, that is the demand. The demand has been quite difficult. We saw China going down, India, Europe not doing very well, and that is really due to the big fight on tariff. Now I think that is end, and maybe demand became more stable. And with this cut, I think that we can regain stability also in the oil price. A different talk for gas. Gas is taking a different road, clearly, a different way.
In terms of what happens next with regards to oil prices, there is a conversation being had, of course, that they could potentially extend those cuts through Q1 and on. Would that be a good idea?
I think that they are going to extend. My feeling, my perception is a guess, because I don't think that for 2020 the volatile system disappeared. I think that we are still in a transition phase. So I think that we need to have a sort of regulation of the control of the production to avoid a very low price that impacts investment and employment. So I think that we need for 2020 to really watch about the price, and the cut will remain, I think.
There was a lot of conversation surrounding the decision for deeper cuts, that this would help the Aramco IPO. I was just in Saudi Arabia for a couple of days. They hit $2 trillion. Do you think Aramco is worth $2 trillion?
Well, I don't know. I cannot answer. I was positive when I've been asked 1 month ago about Aramco, because I know very well the company is very good from a technological point of view, is good from a reserves point of view, a big field, a huge upside potential. They have oil, but they have gas, they have good oil. So I think, and they are also working on decarbonization. So they are creating a very efficient system. So they can look at the future. And when a company is rich, strong, and is looking at the future, clearly is interesting for the investors. So I think that the value is there, and I think that Aramco can do well in the market.
Would you buy Aramco?
No, I cannot, because I buy Eni, that's all.
Walk me through what's happening today, in your opinion, in the Gulf Arab countries, because obviously there's been a lot of conversation, particularly in the last couple of weeks, that we might finally see an end to the blockade of Qatar by the UAE, by Saudi Arabia. How would that impact your business? Would it make things easier?
I think that make life easier to everybody. When there is communication, when there are good relationships, is good. We don't have to look for war, we don't have to look for conflict. We have already a lot of issue, trouble in the war to look for useless conflict. Everybody is suffering in this area because of this situation. So I don't want to enter and talk about the reasons, because it's not to me, but I think that clearly a peace will be good for everybody.
When you look at things a little bit more broadly in terms of what's happening with U.S. shale, when I spoke with His Royal Highness Abdulaziz bin Salman, the energy minister of Saudi Arabia at OPEC, he told me that the cuts were a gift for the U.S. shale industry. and he expected the next time he went to Texas to get a slap on the back and a thank you. What's your take on that? Because it seemed as if they had shale on the rocks.
No, clearly the price is impacting the shale oil and the shale gas as well. I don't know if the reaction of the shale oil respect to a higher price can be the same of a few years ago when the unconventional was growing, was young, and now we reach a plateau. I know that analysts say that it can double, and it's going to double in the next 20 years. Maybe yes, but I think that you need a lot of investment, you need a lot of water, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of space. So I think that there are some limitations in this kind of environment. So clearly a high price is good. A WTI that is higher is good for the shale oil, but not like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. The myth of U.S. energy independence. How does that play into your forecasting? Because you have all of this U.S. shale coming online. You have so much U.S. shale coming online, and it doesn't seem as if that's going to stop anytime soon, especially now with these cuts from OPEC+. How does that impact your forecasts in terms of being...
The price is impacted by a lot of different stuff. So our view on the price, as I told you before, is still not really optimistic. So I think that we continue to range also in 2020 between 60 and 65 with some volatility in these two range. I don't think that can be much higher despite the cut, the OPEC cut, because we have the other variable is the demand. If there is no demand, if there is no growth,
yeah,
that became an issue also if you reduce your production.
What about U.S.-China trade? It seems as if, at least on the face of it, they have a deal. This is good for the industry.
A deal is good because stability. So the uncertainty is really the worst enemy of investment. So no matter the deal you reach, clearly a fair deal means that you have a stable situation. So that means you can invest. So I think that once you reach a deal, there is a tariff, there is some clear discussion, payment, but you know exactly what is going to happen. When you know exactly what is going to happen, you can invest. So that is going to help also investment in China, investment also in other countries. So that is positive at the end of the day.
And where are you looking now to invest?
Where we invest clearly in the region.
Yes.
We are investing just to talk about countries. We are investing in Egypt, as you know, but we invest in Angola. We made big discoveries in Angola, like in Egypt. We made super big discovery in Mexico, so we are investing in Mexico. In 11 months, we start production with the new discovery, and now we are continuing exploration in Mexico, and we are a huge investment in the region. And we hope that in the future we can also make investment in Qatar.
When you're thinking about investments and planning, how do you plan around a situation like Donald Trump? Because it seems as if, at least with U.S.-China trade, it was holding the world and the investment community hostage.
Yeah. No, Donald Trump is not that is problem for our investment because we invest worldwide. The volatility is there. There are a lot of geopolitics. We have cuts. We have demand that is really volatile. So my answer is to have a very strong financial efficiency. So my cash neutrality must be very, very, very low. My break-even must be very, very low because I cannot control anything in terms of outside the grid of freedom. There are too many things. What I can control? The cost of my company, the efficiency of my company, the technology of my company, and build on that. Because the sea is very agitated, so I have to create a very simple and clear way inside my company. And the cost is the first point. The financial discipline is another important point, and technology, because the technology means that you can have a big advantage compared to the others. You can open new doors, you can start new business. Now we are very active on the circular economy. That means waste to fuel. So without using oil and gas, we use organic waste or inorganic waste to have new clean fuel. So the world has no border. You can go where you want. You don't have just to fix on the constraint of some politician or other thing. You have to invent new things. If you are able to imagine the future that you don't see and bring your people together, you can win.
Claudio, thank you so much for joining CNBC.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.